Jordan Kennedy was my student for 4 years at Leadership Prep Charter School, Middle Academy, and I will remember her for my life. And while she was instantly special to me, I was not special to her. She assumed I would leave her, as many teachers before me had. Parents at Leadership Prep they say all the time, it takes a village to raise a child. And I know we've all heard the saying, but it's true. Every child needs that group of people that roots for them, cheers for them, nurtures them, teaches them. And so this is about really the people that Jordan trusted and about me who had to earn and deserve her trust. My first year with Jordan and her class, which happened to be the founding class of both our elementary academy and our middle academy, was really my education on children's villages. Jordan's village consisted of her mother, her relatives, and the classmates and her classmates' parents. Now, being a founding class is incredibly challenging. Basically, every lesson, every system, most people are almost tried out on them for the first time. And so this is really painful. But it did allow these families to sort of create such a strong bond to really protect their children. What became incredibly clear to me was that teachers and trust of teachers was not part of Jordan's village. They felt no trust towards us. Nick and I were two new teachers, and Owen was a new principal. We really did not know what to do. And I really felt helpless, because I didn't know how to be a part of her community. And Jordan was just so dynamic, she's full of life, and she was really just waiting for me to leave. It was one of the first experiences I had where I felt I was on the outside. What I did learn was that loyalty was the key to sort of opening up this village. We were going to be a part of Jordan's team if we stuck around long enough. We just had to stay. And I did stay. I learned from others first how to basically get inside Jordan's village. Michaela was the only one to be part of these students, including Jordan's village, that very first year. And what I now know is that she wasn't afraid to listen to families. Her goal wasn't to get parents to understand our school, it was for her to understand those parents. And she loved every child unconditionally. And she really taught me how to care for the whole child in a school that at the time really only cared about academics. And really, she was teaching me while also teaching Jordan how to grow up. And from Aiden, Jordan learned her confidence. He stepped into leadership prep when Jordan was in her 6th grade year, and he taught 6th and 8th grade math. And his enthusiasm, it was infectious. Middle schoolers, as we know, are desperately needing something to believe in and something to say yes to. And Aiden gave that to every one of his students. Now, certain people are hubs, and Miss Beverly Kennedy, her mother, is definitely the hub of Jordan, of her village, and really every child in that class at Leadership Prep. Her red Chevy was parked outside the school building every day, and Jordan and all of her classmates would run out, crowd around, tell Miss Kennedy the truth about everything. And Miss Kennedy would call all of her teachers, and you would go, and you would know that she was going to have a difficult conversation with you, but that it was out of love and protection of her daughter. Now, one week in 6th grade, her Chevy was missing, and Miss Kennedy was in the hospital, and we didn't know if she was going to make it through the weekend. And I just remember thinking, I can't imagine a child losing the most important person in their life. And honestly, now Jordan's in high school, and I don't know if her mom's going to see her graduate from high school. But I know we also had that same thought when Jordan was in 5th grade. And Beverly, she's just teaching Jordan what it means to be a force, to drive others to form villages. She's teaching Jordan what is right in the world and how to will yourself to your goals. She teaches Jordan, and she definitely taught me how to survive and how to thrive. So, did I finally make it into the village? I did. It took over 2 years. 2 years I spent working with Jordan's classes, constantly trying to figure out how to get on the same page, how to earn their trust. I remember during the second year, I was looking for other jobs. I just didn't think I could spend another year in such a disciplined, structured, regimented school environment. I just wanted to know Jordan and her classmates as people, and I hadn't succeeded in doing that yet. And it really killed me. But there were these tiny moments when Jordan would just get an answer and just be ecstatic in reading class. And I just remember it was those moments that made me convince my principal that I wanted, and I was committed to staying. I had to have another year with her. So our third year together was our third year of me as the reading teacher. And in our second week of school, I will never forget this, we were reading the book Night by Elie Wiesel, which is a very challenging book, and I was anxious. I needed the class to be with me, and if we weren't going to basically join as one, as a village, we were going to fail, in my mind, as readers, and on some level, as people. And there was this one moment, Jordan was reading aloud, and she read, this is a quote from page 4. The Jews were ordered onto waiting trucks. The trucks headed towards a forest. There, everybody was ordered to get out. Without passion or haste, they shot their prisoners, who were forced to approach the trench, one by one, and offer their necks. Babies were thrown into the air, and the machine gunners used them as targets. And the entire class was silent. There weren't any laughs, there weren't any coughs. They were looking at me really for what to do next. We had gone and read this horrific event, and it had immediately affected them, and I had been there for them. I wasn't going to leave them as we journeyed through Night or through other texts or really through their middle school careers. And I remember Jordan just looking me in the face, and I knew I was a part of her village. It was that moment. I was going to give her the support she needed to process hard things in her life and in what she read. I was going to be there for her. That said, I still had my doubts. I basically had to be convinced by Aiden to stay another year. I had to be promised I'd teach Jordan's class. The job was so hard, and I wanted to see what else was out there in terms of educating a child. And I ended up staying Jordan's fourth and final year. I taught that class nonfiction studies. I helped coach the girls' basketball team. Jordan was the point guard. And I was Miss Clinchy. I was always there for them. I remember celebrating as a class as they got into their high school of choice. I spoke at their graduation and thanked parents for letting me be a part of this village. They were off to high school. I had just been so proud of them for 4 years and worked so hard to get there. And now, where was I? And I was gone. I left Jordan. She did move on to high school, so she left too. But I left all the future Jordans. And when she comes back to visit at Leadership Prep, I'm not there. I worked and I cried and I laughed and I definitely cried more, and I worked again to be a part of this child's life. And I wanted and I needed to support her emotionally. And I stayed at a school that I loved, but I didn't always believe in or agree with. And I just learned so much of what it took to help a child be who they want to be, which is so difficult, as we know, and especially in the city. And after all that, I left and went to another school. I just remember at the end of last year, thinking of so many students that came up to me and said, "Ms. Clinchy, why are you leaving us? Why are you leaving me?" And I just think over and over to myself, am I thinking of my own happiness over my students? Did I not have what it took to do something that hard? And those 4 years, was it not enough? Did I betray her? Did I give up on them all? Thank you.